TDAQ is paying around 17%, and on paper, you may think this is probably a good yield in order to retire on. And a lot of people buy into TDAQ and think, this could be one of the better ETFs, income ETFs, in order to help fund your retirement. Now in today's video, we're going to be breaking down, is it possible to retire with TDAQ? Now, there are definitely other ETFs that you can add to TDAQ, and we're going to be talking about that later on in the video. We're also going to be talking about later on in the video what my verdict is, and then I'm going to give you my honest answer if you can retire with TDAQ. All right, guys, let's get to it and let's dive in. This video is purely educational content. It should not be considered personal finance advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and I don't know your financial situation, risk tolerance, or even investment goals. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment. All right, let's get on to the video. Hey guys, my name is Steve and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people to save more and invest better. Today, we are breaking down TDAQ. We're talking about if you can retire with TDAQ. Now, I know what you're thinking, that you may not know exactly what TDAQ is. And so we're going to be breaking that down, and we're going to be showing you guys what the strategy is, how much money you need to use it for your retirement, what other ETFs you could pair this with, and is this a good one to add to your portfolio? All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's dive in. TDAQ is the TappAlpha Innovation 100 Growth and Daily Income ETF. So what this ETF is, so it holds QQQM in its portfolio. And what it's going to do is going to sell 1256 contracts on the Nasdaq exchange, the NDX, in order to create income. Now, these are going to be based upon using covered calls. And what they're actually doing is they're going to be using a 0 DTE strategy, so 0 days to expiration strategy. So they're going to be selling in the morning and closing them out later on in the day. And that means that overnight fluctuations in the market aren't really going to affect it. Over the weekends aren't going to affect it. And so basically they're going to be doing this every single day in order to create premium, and then they're going to distribute that out to the investors. Now, not every 0 DTE strategy is the same, but with TDAQ, they're using some very good engineering and looking at some of the things that are going on in the market. So let's say the volatility is not really there with the market, and possibility that with earnings out, maybe things are just not going to go well. So they may not sell some covered calls on it in order to basically have a little bit of upside. And so that's good news to you if you're looking for a little bit of upside and a little bit of growth, but you're also getting some pretty good income. So with the premiums, you're getting around a 17% yield. And so that's also a pretty good income, and that's being paid out monthly. Now, the expense ratio of TDAQ is 0.83%, and so that's going to cost you about $83 for every $10,000 invested. Now, with TDAQ, you're also getting some tax efficiency. So you got the 1256 contracts, people like those. You're also getting some return of capital, and what this is really doing is it's going to defer taxes down the road, giving you anywhere between that 90 to 100% ROC, and so that's good news to you if you're looking for a tax efficient way in order to invest for the long term. Before we jump in to seeing if this could be a good part of your portfolio for retirement, we need to also meet kind of the rest of the family, the TappAlpha family. So the TappAlpha has about 5 different ETFs. So we have TDAQ, we just talked about that. We have T-SPY, which is basically the S&P 500 version of TDAQ. We also have the 2 ETFs that are a leveraged version. It's part of the Lift series. And so that's TSYX and also TDAX. Now those are just leveraged versions of the T-SPY and the TDAQ. And you also have TMGN, which is the SIBO Magnificent 10 Daily Income ETF, which is basically using the Mag 10 in order to create 0 DTEs on the index that this SIBO created last year. And so those are the 5 ETFs a part of this. Now, if we were looking at some other Nasdaq 100 ETFs like a GPIQ and a QQQI, TDAQ compares to these very well. Now, with all 3 of these, so GPIQ has around a 9% yield, QQQI does around a 14% yield, TDAQ is a 17% yield. Now, the price appreciation is where these are gonna change a bit. Since inception of TDAQ, which was September of 2025, GPIQ is up in price 13.97%. TDAQ is up 10.39%. QQQI is up 4.59%. Now, total return is what those dividends reinvested to create that total return. You're gonna get GPIQ at 25.52%, TDAQ with a 27.26%, and then QQQI with a 19%. So right there, TDAQ wins with the total return, but it's in the middle of the road for the price return. Now, the good news is you're getting a great ETF that's doing about 10% growth almost for the last 10 months. And 10 to 11 months, and you're also getting some good yield, you're also getting some good tax efficiency, and you're going with a pretty good company. Now, you could also invest into like a QQQ and sell some shares, and you can also make out just a bit better. So QQQ on average is doing anywhere between 19 to 20% for the last 10 years. And so that's a pretty good price return. But you also have to sell some shares, and you have to know when is a good time to sell and not to sell at the bottom, of course. And you also have to be able to have some cash off to the side in case the market does drop. Hey guys, if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And one of my favorite places where people are gathering together, learning from each other, having discussions, and even seeing my portfolio is through my circle group. Join in my circle group. You know, it's called the Wealth Collective by the Frugal Expat, and that's me, Steve, and I am running this, and it's a great place where you guys can help support me. I can also help support you guys. I will have discussions, my portfolio's down there, throwing in some videos, and once a month having some monthly chats with me. And so if you want, you guys can join that in the link down below and also in my pinned comments, and join me in the circle group. All right, guys, I'll see you in the circle group, and let's get back to the video. There are, of course, risks to TDAQ that we also have to consider before we start hitting those numbers. First of all, is its short track record. It's only been around since September of 2025, so you don't really have a full year. We also don't have a track record of what will it do during a recession. Secondly, it's not really diverse. It is focusing on one type of sector, the Nasdaq 100. And so it may be a more diversified portfolio, would maybe have some more S&P 500, maybe some small caps, maybe some foreign, maybe even some cryptocurrency, maybe some energy, real estate. There are just all sorts of other types of ETFs you could put in this portfolio. Number three, the yield isn't really the return. We're talking about an 18%, 17% yield, maybe even a 16% yield, but that's not the total return. That's how much they're distributing to you. Now, is it too high? Well, it could be. Would we have a better yield of around anywhere between that 10 to 14%? Possibly, in allowing more growth, that could be a better way to do it. But that's just me saying those things. And number four, zero DTE can be a little complex, and it could also possibly cap your upside. But that's depending on how they're doing their strategy and their rules. Maybe they're not selling some zero DTEs every single day. Maybe they do it on some days. Maybe their algorithm is saying maybe to hold off on other days during earnings where things can go crazy. And so they are looking at different ways of maybe doing this. And so those are some risks. Now the real question is, can you retire off of TDAQ? Let's jump into those numbers. Now the honest question is, can you retire on TDAQ alone? Well, probably not. And the reason I say that is because the sequence risk of returns, first of all, is if you start buying it today, or maybe yesterday, or maybe last week, and the market does tank about 20-30%, well, you're probably not retiring anytime soon. And so those are some things you got to think about. Now, if you had a diversified portfolio and you were buying them on the dip and you were trying to create a portfolio, plus you had cash reserves for a whole year, maybe 2 years, maybe, but that's also adding a whole bunch of other things a part of this. Now, let's just look at some of those numbers because I want to see how much this could be actually giving us while we're trying to invest in it. Now with $100,000, we got T-SPY doing about 14%, we have TDAQ doing about 17%, we also have about TDAX that does anywhere between 20 to 23, 24%. T-SPY is going to give us, with $100,000, about $1,167 per month approximately. TDAX is going to be about $1,417 per month, and TDAX will be around $1,667 per month, or a little bit higher, just depending on what the yield is. With $250,000, T-SPY is going to be giving us about $2,917 per month. TDAQ is $3,542 per month. And TDAX around $4,167 per month. With a balance of $500,000, T-SPY will be giving us $5,833 per month. TDAQ will be giving us $7,083 per month. And TDAX around $8,333 per month. Now, as you can see that as the amount of money you're putting in, the more money into TDAQ is actually outshining like T-SPY, but you're also giving up some of the growth potential. And so honestly, if I was looking at trying to pair this up with maybe another ETF, if I wanted a different income ETF, maybe I would pair it up with a GPIQ to get a little bit more growth in price, but it's also giving us some income. If I really wanted some more growth, I could pair it up with QQQ or QQQM. QQQM is already in TDAQ, but it's getting income. If I wanted just pure growth, I could just have QQQM and kind of pair that up with TDAQ in order to get some income. I would also probably try to pair it up with some other ETFs in order to kind of help diversify just a little bit more and probably lower that blended yield. I'd probably add maybe an OVL, getting a 10% yield, but also a huge uncapped upside with having VOO within its portfolio. Maybe even OVF in an IDVO, giving you some international version. Maybe some small caps in IWMI in an OVS. Maybe also throwing in an MLPI, throwing in some other ones that could just make this a little bit more well-rounded. And so we're adding some pieces in order to create maybe a better core and also to diversify for the future, because when things do hit the fan, you want to make sure that your portfolio can kind of stabilize and be able to hit those things and just continue to go and go. And that's why I would be adding some other parts. Now in my portfolio alone, I have like VTI, I have QQQM, I have some others, but I also own TDAQ and TDAX. I also own TMGN and OVL and OVF. And so that's the reason I said I could add some of these pieces to make it more well-rounded. Now, where does TDAQ actually fit? So when I'm building my 3-bucket portfolio, I've got an income bucket, I've got a dividend growth or like a stability bucket, and a growth bucket. Now, TDAQ is going to land in my income bucket. It's giving me that 17% yield. I'm going to be allocating maybe 30 to 40% in that bucket in order to have enough income while I'm having growth grow my income as well. And so we have 2 different buckets, and that's where I think it lands some of the best parts. Now, what does it mean for you? If you're looking for a great ETF from a great company by a great CEO, I say great because I think Sai Katara from TappAlpha is doing a great job in creating some good ETFs for individual and retail investors. I think TappAlpha is a great company that hits over 500 million in assets under management in May, and it continues to grow for the future. It's got a lot of great ETFs that it's building for the future, and so this could be a good one to add to your portfolio. Now, it's a little bit different than maybe the OGs like a QQQI or GPIQ. It has 0 DTE as part of its strategy, so it's not going to have any of the flux going on in after hours or even weekend hours. And so if the Iran war happens on a Friday afternoon to a Sunday morning, well, then you don't have that flux going on within this portfolio. This is a pretty good one, giving some good yield, but it's also got a little bit some good price appreciation. Would I like more price appreciation and less yield? Probably. I'm 39 years old and I would love to have more growth and less yield. But with this one, I'm still getting a pretty good yield. And I would say that, if you're looking for a good Nasdaq 100 ETF, TDAQ is one of my favorites. I have in my portfolio. So let me know in the comments, do you own any TDAQ? Is this a part of your portfolio? And what are some other great ETFs I should be looking into that I could be adding into my next video? All right, guys, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in our next video.